President-elect Donald Trump on his thank you tour, as he's calling it, showing a lot of passion on stage, something that is not lost on my next guest. Take a look.
Steve Ballmer!
I always wonder how Steve Ballmer feels when you play that video. I love it, and I'll tell you, Steve, and it's great to have you. It shows unique passion, unique energy. Having covered you for many, many years, I think it's a rare quality in a lot of industries, probably all industries, to see passion. You don't see it that much. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Good to see you again.
Very good. Donald Trump is certainly an outside-the-box kind of a candidate and an outside-the-box president-elect. I mean, he kind of speaks, you know, off the top of his head, barely uses a prompter. You were that kind of CEO before crowds and annual meetings. I guess there are differences in your approach to things. That's probably an understatement. But a lot of people are saying, you know, Mr. President-elect, it's time to dial it back. It's time to start being more presidential. What do you think?
Well, not for me to give advice to the President of the United States. A whole different thing. I do think it is fun for people who are leaders to both have a chance to be thoughtful and serious, but also kind of, you know, feel it a little bit and show people that you're in and you're excited. And in general, I think that's a good thing for leaders, as opposed to, you know, being all stiff and formal. But you don't want to look like a madman who has no real thoughtfulness and sort of contemplative nature.
Yeah, but, you know, and I'm not blowing you smoke, Steve, but you could keep people really glued to their seats in an audience, and that is because you did physically glue them into their seats. But no, I'm kidding. But that the idea was, you know, you're trying to jazz a crowd. You're trying to get them into what you're talking about, whether you're talking about developers or Clippers fans. I mean, there's not much difference here keeping them engaged, right?
No, and I think it is really important. When you have a group of people in front of you, they've come, yes, to hear your message, but they also kind of want to be there. They want to be excited. They want to be inspired. And you are right. You know, you bring people to a computer conference, and you want them not only to understand what you're saying, you want them to follow you. You want them to be enthusiastic. We get guys to Clipper games. The number one thing I care about, actually, on the business side of the Clips is how loud we can get our fans bumping and thumping during the games, because I think it's exciting for the fan, and, by the way, it's great for the team.
And it's sold out every game since you've had them, so you're doing something right. Let's talk a little bit about now in this post-election environment. I have no idea who you supported or voted for. I know your wife, Connie Ballmer, had donated to Hillary Clinton earlier in the campaign year. How's she faring now?
Well, I mean, she and I both, actually, we're focused in on our issues. Yeah. And, you know, for me, it's sort of like when you're on Microsoft. You're not, as a CEO of a company, you're not a Democrat, you're not a Republican, not at least in your business. You're all about Microsoft. You're all about whatever company you lead. The issue we are very focused in on is how do kids who are born in tough circumstances get a shot at the American dream? And there literally are communities in this country where 50% of the kids are, the probability rather is 50% the kids are not going to do any better than their parents. And I just think, people ought to deserve a better shot, whether we have Republicans in office or Democrats in office. We're working with everybody on that particular goal.
That's not too shabby. You know, I wonder what you then make of the move the president-elect made to save these 1,100 or so jobs at Carrier. There are a lot of pure free market capitalists, Steve, who said, be careful what you wish for, Mr. President-elect, because you're going to have to do that for everybody, and you're choosing winners and losers, the same thing you criticized Barack Obama for doing when he was trying to build and support the solar and wind energy and all of those guys, Cylinder et al. What do you make of that a president, let alone a president-elect, shouldn't be doing this kind of stuff?
Well, I think there's sort of two aspects, and, you know, again, I don't sit in the president's seat, and I wouldn't dare to say. if I take a look, I have another project I'm working on called USA Facts. By early next year, we hope to be able to actually, after 2 years of study, be able to simply tell people, other people other than me, we're trying to learn, where does government money come in, where does it go out, and what impact really does government have? And I've developed a point of view that says there's very little the government can actually do to stimulate the economy in the long run. Yes, interest rates in the short run. Yes, spending in the short run. But those things, they blip up, they blip down. There are a few things, and trade is one of them. And you know, the country has to decide on how it feels about open border for trade or less open border. This president will decide. But at the end of the day, I think the inexorable kind of advance of innovation in the private sector is what's going to stimulate jobs in America, maybe jobs abroad too, but jobs here in America.